Alpine Touch has been a staple of Montana for nearly 8 decades. Folks around the Treasure State have been putting Alpine Touch's world-famous all-purpose seasoning on their steaks and burgers for longer than most of us have been alive. The holidays are coming up. If you want to knock everyone's socks off, be sure to pick up some Alpine Touch Cold Smoke Rub for the best flavor for your Thanksgiving turkey or your Christmas prime rib. Alpine Touch comes in the mail right to your door. Just visit alpinetouch.com. Alpine Touch, Montana's special spice.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Town Pump. Right down the road. Pump it up. Oh, yeah.
Our road to Frisco continues here on Nuanez Now, as well as the Big Sky Breakdown podcast series. And we've been catching up with a variety of people from the history of Montana State football, both recent and long-term history, because it just takes so much and so long to build a program to get to the point where you're knocking on the door of your first national championship in 40 years. And this Bobcat team, certainly a ton to be proud of, but a whole bunch of former Bobcats, a ton to be proud of as well in terms of laying the foundation, including our next guest, Alex Singleton. He's the Denver Bronco, currently working on a 10-year career between the CFL and the NFL, a All-American at Montana State back in the mid-2010s. Singleton, good to hear from you, man. How you doing?
Good, yeah. Thanks for having me, and yeah, it makes me feel way too old.
Isn't that crazy? It makes me feel really old because I was covering you when you were a true freshman, and now I'm like, dang, man, you're like a real-life 30-year-old. How old are you, 28, 29?
31.
31, holy cow. Yeah, we're getting old. Here we are. But you're sitting there at the Broncos facility, right? Are you in Denver? Where are you at?
Yeah, I'm literally, right outside the weight room.
Very cool. So obviously a tough year for you individually, busted up your knee, but sounds like the rehab's going well. So just give people an update on you and just your health status right now.
Yeah, I'm 11 and a half weeks by the time this is coming out, Monday before the game. So yeah. Tomorrow, I guess I'll be 12 weeks out of ACL surgery. So I'm doing good. I'm moving well. I'm ahead of schedule, so I'm going to be 100% for next season. So that's my, health goals on me. But our football team, man. Hopefully, when this is released, we are a playoff team headed to Buffalo and not packing our bags and going home.
So, will you marry me in your future, or maybe you do it all over again? Hi, I'm Brian Toon with Jewelry Design Center, inviting you to come see the largest selection of Will You Marry Me in the state of Montana. The brightest diamonds of every shape and size, unique settings built to last, and skilled jewelers on site offering free sizing and maintenance for life, because that's how long we want to be your jeweler. Jewelry Design Center in Missoula, on Brooks, across from the Montana Club.
Interesting the timing, because we're recording this before Sunday, but on Sunday the Denver Broncos have one of the biggest games in the NFL. What have you thought of just the team so far this year? I know that it's been an interesting time at Denver with Sean Payton coming in last year, and certainly a lot of ups and downs last year, but a great young quarterback in Bo Nix, and the Broncos have been one of the surprises in the league to be sort of on the doorstep of the playoffs. So what's it taken, and what have you thought of just the run so far this year?
Yeah, I think first, I think Sean has really come in and built a culture of winning, and guys have bought into it. I think that's the best part about having young guys is it's a bunch of guys you can mold. So, there's only about, like we said, I'm 30. I think there's only, 4 or 5 of us. So it's a really young football team. And, the guys just came in ready to, learn from us and Sean and learn how to win football. And we've been able to do that. And obviously Bo Nix has, come in and kind of taken steps a lot faster than a lot of rookies do. Plays the game at a high level and doesn't turn the ball over. And that just creates success on offense. And it's been able to, win us a lot of football games this year and give us this kind of opportunity.
Coach Payton, too, has long been known as this offensive mastermind, and that, I think that's bared out. But also just the things that he's done to sort of keep it simple, but also play to Bo Nix's strengths. What have you thought of that part? Because a lot of times we see these rookie quarterbacks, and they're just asked to do way too much, and they can't do it. But Bo Nix, I mean, man, from month 1 to now, he has just grown so much. I think Coach Payton probably deserves a ton of credit for that.
Yeah, and I think Bo's not afraid to kind of, speak his mind on that as well. If it feels like too much, he's not afraid to be like, hey, we need to make this simpler, and stuff like that, where a lot of coaches and players, there's just kind of that kind of, dictator almost level of like, hey, this is what we're going to do, like figure it out. Instead, it's kind of, a good communication between them. And it's worked really well this year. And, obviously not in any of those meetings, but just it's been huge for us. The defense is playing, really well, one of the tops in the league. So it's been a really good year for us.
Has it been hard for you to watch
Oh,
the sidelines?
it's miserable. I hate it.
Bet.
This is the first time I've missed a practice in my life was, the day I got hurt from this. So
Man,
it's brutal. It sucks, but it is what it is at this point. But yeah, game days are really hard.
I bet, man. And like last week, I'm sure that was just excruciating to watch. One of the great games in the NFL last week, going back and forth in Cincinnati, and Cincinnati ends up winning in overtime. But man, that must have been tough to be on the sideline and not on the field.
Yeah, it's brutal. I'm not enjoying them. Even I'm great, happy for the guys and our success, but yeah, I want to do anything to be out there to be helping them out.
Alex Singleton joining us here on Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, part of our Road to Frisco coverage. Montana State kicking off at the FCS National Championship game in less than an hour here against North Dakota State. So I know you made it up for a game or two this year. Your perspective on the rise of Montana State? I mean, always been a good program ever since you were there, perennially playoffs and, in the top 10 and all that. But this team has been just a juggernaut. They've been dominant all season long. What have you thought of just the run they've been on?
Yeah, it's been awesome. They're really fun to watch. I think Tommy took a huge step from last year to this year, and it's just impressive. The defense, what Bobby's been doing. I've really enjoyed it. They, week in and week out, I think there's those weeks where it was like, they got Portland State or whoever else. They got to go to UC Davis. Has been a hiccup in the program where it's like, you lose a game that like you need to win or should win. And, they were able to kind of face all those head on and, kind of just mow over those kind of little obstacles that, a lot of people on the outside talk about. And so, I just think it goes back to Vegan, and obviously his messages are very clear. They have a very focused mindset to get to this game at this point this year. And, they've made it there. And so just for 60 more minutes to keep that and be able to win a national championship is going to be, obviously the cherry on top of what, they've done, this entire season.
What do you think's been the thing that's helped them get over the top as a program? Is it personnel? Is it scheme? What do you think is the thing that's helped them reach sort of the next level?
I think it just seems like they have really dominated the state in recruiting. I think that's totally the biggest. We have one of our intern equipment guys worked with the Grizz, and I tell him all the time, he can't be that mad that Missoula East is just a better school. All the good high school kids, if all the high school kids from the state and the city of Missoula are going to Bozeman, it's not going to be close. And it is how it really has been over the last half decade. I know last year was, kind of almost the one-off now instead of it being the other way around. And I think it's just like, if you can win the state of Montana, those are the kids that kind of build the culture there. I think with what NIL's doing and where football's going, if, back in when I was there, you're bringing in a bunch of Texas, California kids. We all would have left after our freshman or sophomore years.
Right.
And so to have the culture that they've built, and I think, it started with Cho and then Vegan and then just the guys they bring in and Troy. I think Troy was huge for that. And then Tommy obviously is huge for that. And so I think having your face of the program and, being a California kid, I'm, still like your face of your program being Montana kids, I think is what creates that, really good, Montana culture and creates winning.
What do you think? What's your perspective on the current state of affairs in college football? When you watch all of this stuff going on, what do you think?
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Man. I think it's crazy. It's hard. We have David Shaw is on our coaching staff here, and I've talked to him about it. It's crazy. It's crazy. And people ask me all the time, like, hey, would you have left? And it's like, you have to. If, USC came and was like, hey, we're going to give you a couple $100,000 to come play linebacker here, I would have been gone. So it's super interesting to just kind of see and think about. And yeah, it's a mess. I hope something has to change. It will change because, the pockets of these huge schools are going to run dry. But yeah, it's It's crazy.
Bobcats win again.
So, fifth quarter at the R Bar?
Dude, I could crush a burger right now.
Can you guys pick it up? I'm thirsty back here. Guys, what's up? Hop on in. Fifth quarter's this way.
Oh, new R Bar merch.
Yo, what's the fifth quarter?
They have food, drinks, and giveaways after every home game.
And these sweet Bobcat cups.
Oh, I'm in.
Take me to the R Bar.
Join us at the Rocking R Bar after every home game for the fifth quarter.
Let's celebrate the spirit of blue and gold.
Big Sky Breakdown, proudly presented by the Bobcat Collective at Montana State. The Bobcat Collective is the NIL collective that serves Montana State University student athletes. The collective has partnered with Montana State to connect fans, alumni, businesses, and local nonprofits with Montana State student athletes. Opportunities through the collective allow student athletes to earn compensation while serving the greater Montana State University community. Sign up now for memberships and enjoy automatic entry into raffles for free tickets while supporting the bright minds at Montana State. They have multiple different membership tiers, and you can also be a one-time supporter, and you can also business partner or corporate supporter. Visit bobcatcollective.com for more. I just feel so bad for the FCS level because it can be and is at the top level big time football, and the environments are awesome. And you know, I mean, you'll play against premier talent, certainly, especially when you get, you know, this deep in the playoffs. You're playing North Dakota State, South Dakota State, all that. I mean, plenty of NFL guys across the board. But like you said, I mean, it's really, really hard. And in fact, in certain ways, it would be dumb from an individual standpoint to say no to some of the money that some of these guys are going to get offered. And so I don't blame the guys. But then it's like, well, what happens to Montana State if they're the ones developing these guys that are super awesome players, and then they just go off and play their last 2 years at Baylor or Cal or USC or whatever? I don't know. It just seems like that's an unsustainable thing for the programs as a whole.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and like I said, I think it's all going to change, but until it does, it is crazy. Like Quinn Ewers is going to stay in college at another school next year and make $6 million when he would be a sixth round, maybe draft pick because he went to Texas and would be out of the NFL in 2 years. So it's interesting. It's crazy, but yeah, it's not fun when you went to at this point, you know, not a ton of transfers have left yet, but I mean, really be feeder schools to these bigger schools.
No doubt. Alex Singleton joining us here on Nuanez Now, as well as the Big Sky Breakdown podcast series. You mentioned Tommy, and I know you've watched that part of it closely. What have you thought of just the next level he's been able to go to? Always really fun to watch and an explosive guy in the run game, but now he's become a real deal talent, and he's going to have the scouts thinking about some stuff after his pro day because he's going to throw down some numbers, and he throws it way better than anybody thinks he does. So what have you thought of just sort of his evolution as an athlete?
Yeah, I mean, it's special. And, like, you know, when I saw him a few weeks ago, you know, he's a lot thicker than you think he is. So I do know, like, you know, I've talked to our scouts, and I know, you know, they're watching. So it'll be really exciting. It's really fun. And, you know, anytime you can get a guy from Montana State that even gets an opportunity is huge. So I'm excited for him. And, you know, like everybody else, you know, I'll reach out and kind of just say, hey, whatever you need, whatever. But, you know, I hope his path is a lot easier than mine was. And, yeah, if he can throw out some numbers, I mean, anything can happen. Honestly, the better the numbers, he'll end up probably playing slot receiver. I think
right.
The faster he is, you know, if he wants to play quarterback, he has to be slow. If he's fast, I think he'll be getting the ball taken out of his hand.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And if anybody digs up the film of him playing kick teams when he's a freshman, they're going to be like, oh, okay, we're going to play you as a gunner and then see if you can figure out how to play slot or safety or something like that. For sure. When you were at Montana State, North Dakota State was in the midst of their initial rise, and it's been them against the world ever since then. I mean, they've won 9 national championships since 2011, which is just crazy to think about. What have you thought of that element of their dominance of the FCS, but also the fact that Montana State gets yet another shot at NDSU?
Yeah, I mean, first, I mean, it's the most impressive thing in sports. I think, you know, they've been through, I want to say 3 head coaches, might be 4.
This is their 4th one, yeah.
Yeah, we have some guys on our staff that have been there. It's crazy. It's really cool. I think, you know, that's obviously the gold standard of what you want in the FCS level, and even, I mean, FBS level. I mean, it's a better streak than any team's ever been on. So they're the gold standard. I think we are getting there. I think obviously what Leon's been able to do, Cruzado and those guys, I think the money that they've put into football, it's matching that. And I think by the end of that new indoor, we'll be better than that facility wise. I think, with our staff, I think we're moving in that right direction. I think between Cho and Vegan, just where they've gone, I think it's moving in that way. And I think winning 9 national championships in like 11 years is, obviously not a fluke, but football's so hard because it's not a best of 7 series. It's a 3-hour game, and whoever wins. They could have gone to 11 and lost 9 of them. So to be where they're at is really special. But Montana State just as a whole needs to know, like, whatever happens in those 3 hours, like, we've been there twice in the last 4 years. And obviously, if you win it, it gets you over that hump. But this should be a mainstay trip that, guys are, working towards and, getting after.
As an alum, as a guy that played at Montana State, how much pride has this given you to watch the Bobcats just on a national stage?
Oh, a ton. It's the best. It's nice. I think, when I played, it was, you're fighting for the ESPN Plus because that was new, and, maybe getting an ESPN2 game late on a Saturday night if it was possible. But, now they're getting, real coverage. I know they just moved the game to Monday night, so it's the only game on, which is huge. It's going to be special. I'm excited. And, when they win, I'll have a lot more to talk about in the locker room.
Yeah, no doubt. Do you have any buddies on the team that are FCS guys that maybe want to watch it with you?
A couple coaches I might. Our D-line
cool.
coach. Our D-line coach was at North Dakota State a few years. Our assistant line coach. So yeah, there's some bets to be had and some talk to be given.
Well, no doubt. Well, it should be fun. Alex Singleton here on Nuanez Now, as well as the Big Sky Breakdown, Denver Broncos linebacker and former Montana State University All-American. Thanks for being here, man. Good to see you, and keep on going. I hope the rehab keeps going well, but we appreciate the time.
Yeah, appreciate you. Thank you, and go Cats.
Are you paying too much in taxes? Elevated Tax and Accounting is a firm that specializes in tax planning and strategy to minimize your tax bill. Elevated Tax consult with you on tax strategy throughout the year, so no more waiting until the end of the year and hoping for the best. As a business owner, you know your sole focus should be spent working on your business, not in it. Outsourcing gives you the time to concentrate on the core reasons you started your company, to create and innovate a top-tier product and generate profits. Elevated Tax and Accounting, elevating you and your business with a modern professional touch.